Shalom. Shalom Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Karkadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, brothers, Christians, truth and sincerity all over the earth. Another shalom to you, full elect. And I just want to make this real quick. Wednesday, when I was getting ready to leave the gym, I was talking to one of the employees. They were just having, basic conversations. And then somebody that goes to the gym came up to him, and we were all talking, just talking. And then finally, I don't exactly remember how the conversation started, but then they started to talk about the older guy. It was like an older guy, and then the dude that works at the gym was a younger guy. I don't remember exactly how the conversation started, but they were talking, and the conversation got brought up pretty much how the younger guy at the gym was more of everything happens for a reason type thing. And then the older guy was talking about referencing the Bible very wrongly. He didn't mention some things which I'm going to talk about that were right, but the rest of his whole thing was, his whole thought process and how he understood the scriptures was completely off. But I didn't go on into no debate with the scriptures. I was just there listening. To people talk. So the older guy was more of you have choice to do this and to do that, and the other guy was leaning towards you can everything happens for a reason and stuff. And they're using it like examples, like if you see your car engine, the check engine light on, then it's your choice to not do it. And then the other dude was like, your car breaks down, then it was meant to happen and stuff like that. So they was just going back and forth about that. But the older gentleman, he was referencing scriptures. One thing he brought up was after the Israelites left Egypt, which they don't even know. I can tell by the way they're talking. Obviously, none of them know that we are the Israelites. We are the people in the book that you're talking about, that you're making a reference to. But they didn't know, and it's not the time and place for me to bring that up. So I just let that go. So he was referencing that, and then also he tried to make a reference with free will in the scriptures. And the thing is, if there is predestination, there cannot be free will. For the simple fact is that if something was predestined to happen, you don't have a free will, or you don't have a choice in your life that you're going to do that and you or not. Eventually, in a point in time in your life, you were going to do that certain thing. It was already written. You don't understand. Everybody on this earth's story is already written. We don't know how our story ends. We just have to live it out, and we have to find out. The author is the Most High. The Most High has everybody's story written out, and there's not something that you can do to change it. And that's what they were talking about. They're talking about, humans have free will. God gave people free will to do this. Now there is no free will. If there was free will, then you'll be able to do things that was not destined in your story to do. And that's not it. All the prophets that go on the highways and hedges, prophesy and do these things, there was nothing that they were going to be able to do to stop that from happening. You waking up to the truth, there was nothing that you would be able to do to stop that from happening. How are you going to stop something from happening that you don't even know that's going to happen? We don't know what's in line for us. We don't know our stories. We don't know what's going to happen in our lots, in our stories. But we know that it's written, and we have to live it out, because there's no way that we know. And so predestination and free will, you cannot have both of those two in the same thing, because one contradicts the other. You can't have predestination and free will, and the Most High did not give that. And there's countless scriptures that you can go to show about predestination and stuff. Like the one scripture that I just referenced a little bit earlier is the subject, the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So the prophets in every life that they come back to, every life they come back into, is going to be new flesh, but that spirit is the same. And the spirits inside that flesh is going to do the same exact thing which they've been doing since the beginning, man. And they're going to prophesy. And we know that the prophets are back doing the same exact thing that they've been doing their whole entire existence, pretty much, since they've been on the earth, and the multiple lives that they've been in. So free will and predestination is not the same. The Most High didn't give you free will. That's not in there. And the dude was trying to say that the guy gave you this, and he probably was a Christian. Didn't really ask him, but he was saying, oh, God gave you free will to do that. It's a choice for you to do this and for you to do that. If you know this is gonna happen, then you do the opposite. Then the other dude was going for free will, which I was obviously leaning towards the other dude's side. Everything happens for a reason, because we know that it does. But he also was talking about free will as well. He was agreeing with the free will part. You don't have a free will, and he was kind of you can't. And he was contradicting himself when he was really speaking, because how does everything happen for a reason, but then you have a choice for that reason to happen? Like, everything happens for a reason, and everything is here for a reason. Everything has their purpose, but you have to understand that if everything happens for a reason, everything is already written in your story. You just don't know it yet. You don't know. You don't, and you not in the knowing. You can say that it was like you don't know. Like you're in the unknowing. So if you're in the unknowing, you know whatever happened to you, but you don't know why it happened to you. You don't know why you went through that. You don't know why you did through this. You don't know why you have those thoughts. You don't know why these things. And people in the unknowing will say, oh, I have the choice to do that and do that, but you don't understand. It was written in your story. And that's what the older gentleman was not understanding. Which I didn't put any to anything. I didn't say anything. I was just listening to their conversation going back and forth. And he kept referencing the Bible and stuff like that. Talking about they had a choice when they left, and why it took them so long to get to the promised land, 45 years, something like that, he said, which he was talking about the wilderness times. And they left Egypt 40 years. The wilderness, that's what he was referencing. He was talking about that. And then some other things that they were saying, but free will and predestination does not go hand in hand, and the Most High did not give you free will. Free will is not in the scriptures. Free will is not in the scriptures. Everything that's written is already written, and we have to live it out. If there was free will, then World War III and all the hell that's getting ready to break loose on the earth, all that stuff would not happen. If there was a way to prevent it, it would not happen. But it's written that it's going to happen, so it's going to happen. No, and what does the scripture say? Is the Most High a man that he shall lie? No, man. Is anything too hard for the Most High? No. Is it hard for the Most High to get these countries in conflict with one another, to set something off in the last World War? No, man. It's not too hard. It's not too hard for the Most High at all. It's quite, actually, to be easy. It's quite easy. Quite very simple for the Most High, man. He's the creator. So that was pretty much it. I just wanted to touch on that because it was very interesting. They were talking about, and then I just wanted to touch on it because the older Jake was like, the vibe I was getting from it was like, and the little dude did mention, he was like, just because I'm young does not mean I don't know anything and stuff like that. And I feel like the older Jake, you know how some older Jakes are, they have that like mind state that you're young, that you don't like know what's going on, or you don't know certain things and stuff like that. And to a certain extent, that is true about certain things, but that doesn't really mean anything, because there's people that's younger than these older Jakes in the world, and that's in the truth, and that have knowledge, that have access to knowledge that you don't have access to. You have access to that worldly knowledge. You might be what am I trying to say? You might be knowledgeable in the worldly stuff, stuff like that, But when it comes to the scriptures, this knowledge is the most beautiful thing you can ever know. Is these scriptures, man, and having that spirit on you, having the Holy Spirit, and that's access that not everybody has access to. That's knowledge that not everybody has access to. Is these scriptures, man, and the understanding of them. Because I understand how beautiful the truth is, and knowing it and understanding and seeing how he was referencing the scriptures, talking about free will and free will this and free will that, he didn't really know. Obviously, he was a private Christian or something along those lines, and he didn't know. Which I know what he was getting at, but it's not the case. You can't find anywhere in the scriptures where it talks about free will. Just like when Jonah didn't want to prophesy, and he got swallowed by a fish, and then what did he went to go do? he tried to stop. He tried to stop his lot, but it didn't happen. So that's pretty much it. I just want to touch on that. Free will, predestination is not the same. It's not go hand in hand. And predestination is in the scriptures, and free will is not. There is no free will. All right. So with that, we all praises unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, B'Shem Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles of the Square Millstone. Shalom to you brothers pushing this truth and sincerity all over the earth. Another shalom to you all for elect. I'll catch you guys in another lesson, Lord willing.